You're standing at a dealership lot, staring at a 10-year-old German luxury sedan with a price tag that seems almost too good to be true. $60,000 when it was new, $12,000 now. You're already imagining yourself behind the wheel, sunroof open, cruising down the highway, feeling like you beat the system. But here's what nobody tells you before you sign those papers. Some of those cars are going to drain your bank account so fast, you'll feel like you handed your wallet directly to the dealership service department. And the worst part? The ones that destroy people financially don't look dangerous at all. They look beautiful. They feel incredible on the test drive. And they are engineered in a way that makes every single repair feel like a surgical procedure on a fighter jet. This video is going to save you from making a decision that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars in the next 3 years. We are going to expose 3 specific German luxury cars that have an absolutely devastating reputation for financial destruction. Cars that lure buyers in with irresistible price tags and then slowly bleed them dry with maintenance bills, software failures, and parts costs that defy logic. And then, right after that, we are going to show you 4 German luxury cars that are actually brilliant buys right now. Cars that offer real quality, proven reliability, and the kind of driving experience that makes people stop and stare, without the financial trauma that comes after. Stay with us until the very end, and because the last car on our buy list is one that almost nobody talks about. And it might be the smartest automotive purchase available in today's used car market. Chapter 1. Why German luxury cars are so dangerous to buy used. Before we get into the specific models, we need to understand something fundamental about how German luxury cars are engineered. These vehicles are not built like normal cars. They are built to be the absolute best in class at the moment they leave the factory. And achieving that means engineers use cutting-edge technology, complex electronic systems, multi-layer software architecture, and precision mechanical components that work perfectly together when they are new and perfectly maintained. The problem starts around the 70 to 100,000 mile mark. That is when systems that were designed for a specific life cycle start showing their age simultaneously. Air suspension bags begin to crack. Electronic control units develop faults that require dealer-level diagnostic tools to even identify. Multi-clutch transmissions that shift like butter when new start hesitating, shuddering, or hunting for gears. And because these cars were designed as flagship vehicles, even replacing a simple sensor can require removing half the dashboard or dropping the entire subframe. Labor rates at authorized dealerships in Germany and at equivalent specialty shops in the United States typically run between $150 and $250 per hour. When your car needs 12 hours of labor to replace a component buried deep inside the drivetrain, you are looking at a bill that can exceed $3,000 for a single repair. Multiply that by several repairs in 1 year, and you start to understand why so many used German luxury car owners quietly sell their vehicles after the first service season. The key is understanding which cars have been engineered in a way that makes them survivable as used purchases, and which ones were designed with such complexity that owning them out of warranty is genuinely financially reckless. Chapter 2. The first car that will leave you broke, the BMW 7 Series, Generation G11 and G12. The BMW 7 Series, G11 and G12, built from 2015 through 2022, represents one of the most technically ambitious automobiles ever produced by any manufacturer. It is lighter than its predecessor thanks to a carbon fiber reinforced plastic body structure. No, it has more driver assistance systems than most aircraft. Its interior is a masterclass in modern luxury design, and on paper, it looks like an absolute steal at today's used market prices. Do not be fooled. The G11 and G12 7 series is one of the most expensive vehicles to maintain in the entire German luxury segment, and the reasons go far deeper than simple complexity. Start with the suspension system. This generation introduced a new generation of air suspension combined with active roll stabilization, a system that uses electronically controlled anti-roll bars to eliminate body lean in corners. The hydraulic actuators for this system are positioned in extremely difficult access locations, and when they fail, which they do, you are looking at repair estimates that routinely exceed $4,000 per axle. Then there is the electrical architecture. The G11 introduced a completely redesigned central nervous system for the vehicle's electronics, with over 100 individual control modules communicating across multiple data buses simultaneously. When these modules develop faults, and they do, especially in vehicles that sit unused for extended periods, diagnosing the root cause can require multiple dealer visits just to identify what is actually wrong. Every hour of that diagnostic time is billed to you at full rate. The 8-cylinder engine variants, specifically the N63 and its successor, the S63, have a documented history of oil consumption issues, valve stem seal failures, and high-pressure fuel injector problems that require the intake manifold to be removed for access. This is a full-day job at minimum. The N63 engine in particular earned a reputation within the enthusiast community that led to it being unofficially nicknamed one of the worst engines BMW has produced in the modern era. And while BMW issued several technical service campaigns to address the most serious concerns, those campaigns addressed symptoms rather than root causes, and many owners continued to experience problems after the updates were applied. Buy this car only if you have a dedicated relationship with an independent BMW specialist, a very well-funded maintenance budget, and the emotional resilience to handle surprise 4-figure repair bills on a recurring basis. For everyone else, this is a car to admire from a distance. Chapter 3. The second car that will leave you broke. The Audi A8 Generation D5. The Audi A8 D5, introduced for the 2018 model year and continuing through the current production cycle, is arguably the most technologically advanced production sedan ever built. It introduced predictive active suspension that uses a front-facing camera to read the road surface ahead and pre-adjust each wheel independently before the bump is even reached. It has a 48-volt mild hybrid system layered on top of the conventional 12-volt electrical system. It has a rear-wheel steering system, an active rear differential, and a laser-assisted high-beam system. Every single one of these systems represents a potential failure point with extreme repair costs. The 48-volt mild hybrid system is particularly problematic in the used market context. This system uses a belt alternator starter unit connected to a lithium-ion battery pack mounted in a separate housing. When the battery degrades, and lithium-ion batteries do degrade with age and heat cycling, replacing it is not a simple swap, The battery management system must be recalibrated, the belt alternator starter must be checked for compatibility, and the integration with the main vehicle computer requires a full software reflash. Dealerships typically charge between $2,500 and $4,000 for this service. The air suspension system on the D5A8 is a fourth-generation system that is more precise and more comfortable than anything Audi has previously built. It is also more expensive to repair than any previous generation. A single air spring replacement, including labor, typically costs between $800 and $1,200. All four corners failing within a short period is not uncommon in vehicles that see temperature extremes or are driven on rough roads. And then there is the software. The multimedia interface system in the D5A8 is deeply integrated with every vehicle function. Climate control, suspension tuning, driver assistance systems, and powertrain management all route through centralized software nodes. When software corruption occurs, caused by interrupted update cycles, battery drain events, or hardware faults, the resulting diagnostic and repair process can consume enormous amounts of dealer time. Owners have reported situations where a seemingly simple electrical fault led to multiple dealer visits spanning weeks, with bills accumulating throughout. And the D5A8 is a magnificent automobile. But magnificent automobiles with this level of complexity belong in manufacturer-maintained fleets, not private hands operating on tight budgets. Chapter 4. The third car that will leave you broke, the Mercedes-Benz CL S-Class, Generation C257. The Mercedes-Benz CL S-Class C257, built from 2018 onward, is perhaps the most seductive trap in the entire German luxury car market. It looks absolutely stunning. The proportions are near perfect. The interior is one of the most beautiful environments in any automobile at any price point. And as used prices have come down into ranges that feel accessible, more and more buyers are being drawn in without fully understanding what they are getting into. The C257 uses the Mercedes electronic architecture, known internally as Mercedes electronic architecture, a fundamentally new electrical system platform that is vastly more complex than the system used in the previous generation C218. This architecture powers the central infotainment system, the driver assistance suite, the air body control suspension system, and the lighting control systems through a network of interconnected nodes that communicate at extremely high speeds. When a node fails, the diagnostic process requires Mercedes' proprietary software tools that independent shops typically do not have full access to, driving repair work almost exclusively to authorized dealerships. The inline six-cylinder engine paired with a 48-volt mild hybrid system, the same fundamental architecture described in the Audi A8, brings all the same long-term battery and belt alternator starter concerns to this platform. The engine itself, designated the Mercedes Motor 256, is sophisticated, but requires full synthetic oil changes at very specific intervals, and deviating from the manufacturer's specified service schedule even slightly accelerates wear on the timing system. Components in ways that become very expensive very quickly. The air body control suspension system offers an extraordinary ride quality experience, but it is also one of the most expensive suspension architectures to maintain in any segment of the market. In suspension struts that combine air springs with adaptive dampers in a single unit cost significantly more to replace than conventional components, and the system requires calibration after any suspension work that must be performed with dealer-level equipment. Most critically, the C257 was introduced at a time when Mercedes was transitioning several of its core vehicle systems, which means early production vehicles have documented concerns with software stability that were addressed in subsequent over-the-air updates. Updates that only function correctly if the vehicle has been consistently maintained and connected to authorized update infrastructure. Buying a used example with an unknown software history is genuinely risky. Chapter 5. The first car you need to buy. Right now, the Mercedes-Benz E-Class W212 facelift. Now we switch gears entirely, because the used car market also contains some extraordinary opportunities. The first car on our buy list is one that comes up in conversations among every serious German car enthusiast who understands value. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class W212 facelift, built between 2013 and 2016. This is the last generation of E-Class that was built before. Mercedes fundamentally shifted its manufacturing philosophy toward cost reduction. The W212 facelift was built when Mercedes was still using premium materials throughout the interior without compromise. The door panels use genuine soft touch surfaces. The switches and controls have satisfying weight and feel. The seats were designed for long-distance comfort in a way that later generations have not matched. Taxi operators in Germany, people who drive their cars hundreds of thousands of kilometers and understand exactly which vehicles survive long-term use, overwhelmingly chose the W212 precisely because of its durability. The engine to focus on is the M276 naturally aspirated gasoline V6. No turbocharger, no complex charge air cooler system, no high-pressure direct injection at extreme pressures. Just a refined, naturally aspirated engine that makes approximately 300 horsepower, pulls smoothly from low revolutions, and has a documented track record of running past 200,000 miles with basic maintenance. This engine does not have the timing, chain concerns that plague many turbocharged Mercedes engines. It does not have the valve stem seal issues found in some other configurations. It is simply a well-built, proven power plant. You can find clean W212 facelift examples with the M276 engine today for between $10,000 and $15,000. That is a car that originally sold for well over $50,000, offering genuine executive sedan quality, proven mechanical reliability, and the kind of build quality that later Mercedes models simply cannot match at any price. Chapter 6. The second car you need to buy right now, the BMW 5 Series F10 535i. The BMW F10 5 Series was the last generation in which BMW truly committed to the driving experience as the primary design objective before comfort and technology features began to take priority. The 535i variant carries the N55 inline-6 cylinder turbocharged engine, a single twin-scroll turbocharged unit producing 300 horsepower that is smooth, responsive, and significantly more reliable than the twin-turbo N54 it replaced or the later B58 generation that followed. The N55 is not a complex engine. It has a single turbocharger with straightforward plumbing. The variable valve timing system is reliable. The cooling system, while requiring attention to the plastic thermostat housing and water pump, components that should be replaced proactively around 100,000 miles, does not have the catastrophic failure modes found in more complex BMW powertrains. Mechanics who specialize in German vehicles consistently rate the N55 as one of the most practical BMW engines to work on. The F10 5 Series interior reflects BMW's understanding that a driver's car needs to place the driver at its center. The seating position, the instrument cluster layout, the placement of the shift selector and driving mode controls, all of it is designed around the person behind the wheel in a way that later generations, with their larger touchscreen-dominated interfaces, have moved away from. Adaptive suspension models offer a comfortable cruising mode that competes directly with much more expensive luxury sedans. These cars are available today in clean condition for between $10,000 and $15,000. A vehicle that originally cost $60,000 or more, offering real executive transport quality, a proven drivetrain, and genuine driving satisfaction. This is exactly the kind of opportunity that smart buyers look for. Chapter 7 of the third car you need to buy right now: the Audi. A 7C7 3.0 TDI. The Audi A7C7, specifically in the 3.0 TDI diesel configuration, represents one of the most quietly compelling used car purchases available in the European market today, and an increasingly interesting option in markets where clean diesel vehicles can be registered without restriction. The exterior of the C7A7 has aged in a way that very few cars manage. It was stunning when it was introduced, and it remains genuinely elegant today. The sloping roofline, the wide rear haunches, the sculpted bodywork. This is a design that will never look dated because it never tried to be fashionable in the first place. It simply tried to be beautiful, and it succeeded. The 3.0 TDI diesel engine is one of the most extensively proven powertrains in Audi's history. It has been used across dozens of models over more than 15 years, and the engineering refinements accumulated across that production result in an engine that is extraordinarily capable for long-distance driving. The combination of approximately 240 horsepower with an enormous amount of torque available from very low engine speeds gives the car a relaxed, effortless quality on the highway that turbocharged gasoline engines typically cannot replicate. The Quattro all-wheel drive system adds weather capability and traction confidence without compromising fuel efficiency to the degree that earlier all-wheel drive systems did. The 8-speed automatic transmission in this configuration is smooth, intuitive, and long-lasting when properly serviced. Well-maintained examples are available today for between $12,000 and $18,000, a fraction of their original purchase price, and arguably the most undervalued design in the German used car market right now. Chapter 8: the fourth car you need to buy right now. The BMW 7 Series E65 740i facelift. This is the car we mentioned at the beginning, the one that almost nobody talks about, but that represents one of the most extraordinary value propositions in the entire luxury segment. The BMW 7 Series E65, specifically in its post-facelift form from 2006 onward, with the 740i engine. When this generation launched, it was controversial. The design divided opinion sharply, and that controversy drove the residual values of these vehicles into territory that makes no logical sense given what the car actually is. Today, you can find clean, well-maintained 740i facelift examples for between $8,000 and $12,000. These are cars that originally sold for $90,000 or more. The post-facelift addressed the most significant quality criticisms of the early production vehicles. Interior materials were upgraded. The iDrive system, which was genuinely difficult to use in early form, was substantially revised and became far more intuitive. Build quality and electronic reliability improved considerably. The result is a car that drives with the composed, authoritative confidence you expect from a flagship BMW: long wheelbase, superb noise isolation, ride quality that simply absorbs the road beneath it. The 740i carries the naturally aspirated 4.0-liter V8N62 engine, which, when properly maintained, is an extraordinarily smooth and reliable power plant. The key word is properly maintained. This engine requires clean oil at correct intervals and attention to the valve stem seals around the 100,000-mile mark. But owners who understand what this engine needs and provide it are consistently rewarded with a powertrain that feels absolutely correct for a flagship luxury sedan. The cautious buyer should have any prospective purchase inspected by an independent BMW specialist before committing. The iDrive electronics, the air suspension, and the valve stem seal condition are the key checkpoints. A clean example that passes this inspection is genuinely one of the best used car buys in any segment at any price.